Everybody likes a good before and after, right? This is before. All repinned. And look, it has a screen now. Let's kick things off today with lane number 30. What are we at? 32. The complaint is that sometimes it will randomly recycle. So the description was they threw a ball, the machine went through a first ball cycle, stopped, and at some point cycled again or continued a cycle. All of our parts are here. Everything is present and accounted for. So we can check the ball detect down there. That would be probably our first place to look. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't look terrible. Reflector's good, right? It's on, it's present, it's accounted for. Yeah, that's not awesome. If we flex the bracket a little bit, it does dip out. What about side to side? It's okay. Yeah, I would call that acceptable. Yeah, okay, well, maybe it's not ball detect. So let's plug it back in. Breaker is on. Let's turn it on and cycle it. Let's see what we can see. Nothing super obvious right off the top of my head. There is a slight bit of interference here. You know, our solenoid conversion mount plate, it's a little bit bent. We could maybe flex this over a little bit and gain a little more clearance. That could potentially cause a conflict. Spring looks good. It looks like it's the proper spring. I don't know. What we can do is we'll turn it on and cycle it over and over and over again. I'll do that off camera because you probably don't want to watch this thing cycle for 10 minutes on camera. The dash pot stop collar adjustment is a little bit off, ever so slightly. Maybe I can get a better angle from the opposite side. So let's take a peek here. Let's manipulate this. Ideally, we want this shoulder, the edge of that shoulder, to kind of bisect our center line here on our roller and our pin. It is a little high. So what we can do, I'll move my light around here. We are going to loosen that screw on the clamping block, and we're going to shift the block down on the rod, and that will shift our shoulder down ever so slightly. We made a very slight adjustment. I mean, maybe a millimeter, and our alignment's looking a whole lot better. That looks pretty good there. I didn't see it mess up. I haven't seen it malfunction, but you know, this is probably what's standing out the most to me. I haven't seen anything else that that looks out of place. The bearing on our clutch reset lever looks good. No flat spots or anything. So that's good. Our gearbox clutch is stopping at the appropriate spot. Good, that's good there. The clutch lever adjustment looks good. Lifting appropriately away from the stop surface. Yeah, no issues there. So we're just gonna continue cycling it for a few minutes. Like I said, I haven't seen it malfunction at all, even once. But I'm going only on the info that was given to me. I do have her stopped at 180 degrees, just to check the cycle solenoid adjustment. It looks like we could use a slight adjustment. I'm lifting up on the plunger and bottoming the solenoid plunger out in its housing. I do have a tiny gap. Will it work? Yeah. Maybe I won't adjust it. Book spec is for like a 1/16 of an inch. You know, is it that far off? No, not really. It hasn't presented any issues yet, and I've been cycling this machine for quite a little while here. Well, let's wrap this one up. I think with some of the issues that we found and corrected, they should be good here. So let's jump on to something else. We are one pair over, and surprise, damaged wires. So this particular cable goes down to their ball booster. What happened is this bolt fell out, and the bracket here that secures the wiring had shifted, and they didn't catch it until after damage occurred. That's too bad. So the bad news is I dropped it. The other bad news is we don't have a lot of cable stock here. The brake is in such a way that I don't have enough length to go from the cannon plug on the forward side of the circuit box up over our rabbit ears and to continue down the side frame. So, but the good news is down there is a little piece of cable. We can patch it together with some butt splices. It's not ideal, right? It's not the best thing in the world. The best thing in the world would be break out that ball booster box and run new cable all the way through. The problem is we don't have any new cable that's long enough. I mean, we got a foot here, a foot there kind of thing. That'll work, right? I mean, it's not amazing, but I think it's the best we can do with what we've got, materials and tools and such. There you go, ball booster runs. Cool. Goodbye, ugly cable. On to the next thing. All right, I think this might be our last one, but we have a failed index at the number 5, and we have a flippy floppy indexing bell clamp. Wiggle, wiggle. That is going to be a little bit better. Now it pivots instead of wobbling. So the other thing we got going on is that the jam nut and the rear stop for our indexing lever were loose. So let's flip our breaker on, bring it home, and watch. a little crusty. Okay. Beautiful. Oh, failed index. Hold on, we're too close. So let's cut the breaker off here and see what happened. What I ended up doing is adjusting the front stop. We had a lot of spring tension that we didn't need. Remember, the weight of the pin alone should cause the machine to index. We're not quite there yet, are we? Turret wires adjusted too tight. That's not good. On number 6, yeah, not good. So we're gonna adjust that number 6 turret wire, and we're gonna move our rear seat is gonna go forward just a little bit. So we've gone through and we've checked all of our turret wire spacing adjustments. You need a little gap between the belly of the pins and the turret wires. This is literally a bend to fit adjustment. You know, you bend them open or bend them closed. You want to get maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. Like I said, between the belly of the pin and the wires. That one's a little thick. That one's good. It's not an exact science though. Back to what I was saying before. The weight of the pin alone should cause the machine to index. Just like that. This looks really good. Yeah, this one looks like probably some worn linkage. Our projection for our outer range stop is landing under the pin when it's not supposed to be. Crazy. Didn't do it that time. I want to see if I can get it on camera. Doesn't want to do it. Sure, it works fine now. Yeah. I think I found the underlying issue. It's in the detector disc. It's sticking. The detector disc is sticking. Good. Not getting stuck anymore. Cool. Yeah, it's a little dark in here, huh? But that's good. We went in thinking we'd have to put an automatic outer range kit on because we had interference between our clutch lever and our outer range stop surface, but turns out it was the detector disc getting bound up because it hasn't been lubricated in, I don't know, it looks like maybe a decade or so. But I kind of liberally lubricated it and ran it through for a couple minutes, and it started acting properly again.